On this video, we're going to learn how to do infinite scrolling and also scrape all the tweets on Twitter. So first, I'm going to uncomment this code we previously commented out, and then these lines of codes. Now I'm gonna delete this, and okay, everything is ready to start. First, let me show you how we're going to scrape the Twitter website with infinite scrolling. Twitter has a particular way to load tweets. For example, here we have this random username in the first page. Now, let me copy this username so I can show you something. Now, let's try to find this username pressing Command F or Control F and then pasting this value. So here I have the username and the name, so I don't care about the name, but I'm only going to search the username. So as you can see here, we can easily find the username because we are on the same page. However, if we close this and scroll down and go to other pages and then try to find this username, so I press again Command F and then paste it. As you can see here, the browser couldn't find this username. So what's going on? Why we can't get the username if we're still on this link? So apparently Twitter only loads the tweets of the page we're currently in. So this means that we'll only get the tweets of the page we're in at the moment we scrape. That is, we'll have to scrape each page as we scroll down and not wait till the end to scrape everything. Unfortunately, one of the disadvantages of this approach is that we might get duplicate tweets because Selenium might catch elements it already located from the previous pages. But we're going to handle these duplicate tweets with sets. So let me show you. Here I'm going to create a set, writing set in parentheses. So in Python, sets are similar to lists, but they store only unique elements. So duplicate elements are not allowed. So I'm going to name this set as tweets underscore IDs because IDs are also unique. And now we're going to work with this code that scrapes the website. So first we're going to define a while loop. So we write while, and here I'm going to create a new variable. This variable is going to be named scrolling. So scrolling equal to true. So I write while scrolling and then colon. So while this variable is true, this while loop is gonna work. Now I'm going to indent these lines of code that let me scrape that Twitter website. And now I'm going to create a new variable named tweet underscore ID. So this tweet ID variable is going to help us filter out duplicate tweets. So we have to create a unique ID from the tweets we scrape. But we can use the username to create an ID. Although usernames in Twitter are unique, a username can publish multiple tweets. So if we set the username as an ID, we'll only get one tweet from that username. Also, the text alone can be an ID because two different users could write the same text. And in that case, we'll just get a tweet from one user and not the other. So what we're going to do is to concatenate the username and the text. To do so, we're going to use the join function. So here we have a list from this tweet list that comes from this function that returns the user and the text inside the list. So we write quotes dot join and then open parentheses. And inside parentheses, we copy and paste tweet underscore list. So with this, we make sure that we're going to create a unique ID. Next, we're going to write the following condition. If tweet ID not in tweet IDs, then column, press enter, and here we write tweet IDs dot add parentheses and here tweet ID. So now I'm going to explain you what this means. So as you might remember, the tweet IDs in plural is a set. So here we only store unique data. And here we're going to add the tweet ID. This is the ID we just created before. but we're only gonna add this data if this wasn't previously stored in the tweet IDs set. So if Selenium extracts duplicate data, this is not going to be stored in the tweet IDs set. Then we're going to indent this code. This represents the list that help us create the data frame here. So we use this list to create this df tweets data frame, and the code is not going to change at all. But the CSV that we're going to export, I'm gonna rename it. So it's gonna be tweets underscore infinite underscore scrolling. Now let's make sure that Selenium is just going to take the last 10 or 20 tweets on a page. On average, that's the number of tweets that are displayed on a page. So on average must be around 15. So I write -15 and here colon. So this represents a range that will return only the last 15 elements from the page that Selenium is currently scraping. Remember that Selenium might scrape pages that were already scraped. So with this, we avoid wasting time scraping the same tweets. Now to finish this, let me put the infinite scrolling code we wrote before inside the while loop. So I'm going to delete some spaces here too, this blank space, and I'm gonna paste that code here. And now we have one while loop inside another while loop. So we have to make sure that this first while loop breaks inside this second while loop. So we'll make this first while loop break when the new height is equal to the last height. That is when Selenium reaches the end of the website. So there is no more pages to load. So I just press enter and add here scrolling equal to false. This means that when Selenium reaches the last page, this is gonna be equal to false, and then when it goes to the next iteration, it's gonna set y scrolling, but now scrolling is set to false. So since it's false, then the whole loop is gonna break and the immediate code is gonna be executed. So driver.quit. Now we're also gonna decrease this sleep time because after Selenium scrolls down, we don't want to wait so much time, just the necessary time to let the page render correctly. So I'm gonna write 2 seconds. That will depend a lot on your machine. So if your machine is fast, maybe 2 or 3 seconds will be fine. But if your machine is slow, then maybe 5 seconds or 4 seconds will be okay. Just test it and find the perfect time for your machine and your internet connection. Finally, I need to break this nested while loop on every iteration. This happens because, as I told you at the beginning of this video, we're going to scrape as we scroll down. So we're not going to wait until Selenium reaches the end of the page. So far this code will keep scrolling down until it reaches the end of the page. And this code is only being executed once. But if we write here break, Selenium is going to scrape on every iteration. So let me show you here. Let's say we're in page 1. So we're in page 1, this is set to true, scrolling is true, and it will scrape the first page with this code. Then we're going to take the height of the page, and since while it's true, it's always true, it's going to execute this code. So we're going to scroll down with this code, wait 2 seconds, and then the new height is going to be, well, the height of the first page. And then it doesn't matter if the new height is equal or different to the last height, but the code is going to break and go to the next iteration to scrape the next page with these lines of code. And on the second page, it's going to be the same. It's going to scrape the second page, and then it's going to break here again, and then to the third page, and so on. But when we reach the last page, not only the infinite scrolling here will be broken, but also the scraping process, because here we're setting to false and the scraping process is also going to break. So the whole thing is going to break. So in summary, we're going to break after we scroll down the page, and only on the last page we're going to break the whole scraping process. So now it's time to test this code out. So I right click and now I'm going to run this code. So let's see the scraping process. So first the browser will be opened, and now it's gonna scroll down many times. So I'm going to speed up this part so you guys can see the whole process being executed without wasting so much time. So okay, finally the scraping process was finished. So back to PyCharm, and now we have 195 tweets scraped. So let's examine the CSV file created. So I'm gonna minimize this and open the CSV file we created, tweets underscore infinite scrolling. So I double click on it. So here we can see much better the data scraped. So as we can see, the usernames and the text were successfully extracted. So everything is fine. And now let me show you another way to do this infinite scrolling. So back to the script, and here we can slightly modify this condition. So I'm gonna comment this out, and at the same time I'm going to duplicate this. So now I press here enter, and I'm going to uncomment this. So this is going to be a second way to do this infinite scrolling. So I'm going to indent this inside the if condition. And now we're going to use these lists we created before. For example, this user underscore data, and we're going to set this as a condition. So if the length of user underscore data is greater than 60, we're going to break the outer while loop and the inner while loop. So this second way to deal with infinite scrolling is just a way to keep scrolling until you get the sample you want. So for example, if you want 1000 tweets of sample, you can write here 1000. Or if you want 100, you can get 100. And Selenium is gonna continue scrolling down until you get this number of tweets. So the first one will scroll down until the end, so we get all the data in a page, while this second condition will only get the data we need. So you don't waste so much time scraping unnecessary data. And that's it. You just learned how to scrape data using infinite scrolling.